picked up to add to your team?
Yeah, as you can see, there's been a lot of movement in this draft, so there's a lot of conversations flying around at the tables. In the end, we kind of stayed put with our pick, and, this was the player that we targeted. So we were happy that he was still available. The one thing that we were just trying to survey is, at the time to take the pick, whether there was a way to still think about moving down and if he might still be available. But we're really glad to have him. He has flexibility. It adds to our defensive depth. I think Justin Billy will be a good addition to the Red Bulls this year.
Is the back line what you guys are keyed on in terms of improving right now?
Yeah, I think, we feel really good about our roster in general. I think we've got depth at almost every position. Clearly now with signing all these homegrown players, we've added even more depth. So we like our team, we like our balance, and it's just about trying to find one or two pieces here that we think can add a little bit more.
Does the draft change for you now that you have guys? I mean, you brought in 7 college players.
Yeah. No, it does change for us a little bit. It doesn't make it obsolete because there's still the ability to pick up a good player, but I think there's less emphasis on figuring out, exactly what the right fit is for a number of reasons, but certainly the fact that we have our homegrowns coming through the system now, and we think that they're going to be big contributors.
At any point did you think about moving up?
A little bit, but not, we didn't want to leverage too much within our resources and then within our roster because we feel really good with what we have. So, we're glad that Justin was available at this pick, and that was the guy we wanted.
So you have one pick left in the second round. Are you guys going to look to trade that at all or focus more on the defensive midfield depth?
Well, we won't look at defensive midfield depth because we feel like we're really good there. Probably won't trade it, and probably would look to again bolster our defensive unit. We'll see. We have a couple targets that we're hoping make it past this, to the late stages of the next round, and hopefully be available at that point.
Personally, for you and Ali, this is the second year going through it. Do things feel a little bit more comfortable,
more
settled?
Last year, I feel like the combine and draft last year weren't so much about the combine and draft as much as all the other work that had to be done. This year it feels like we're much more in control of exactly what's happening in the moment instead of the concern of a million other things on our mind. So, but still, we know we have a big task ahead of us, and we're really excited to get the year started.
Jesse, there's been a lot of talk about Miazga's future. Can you give us an update on where he's at with the club right now?
Yeah, right now Matt's with our team, and there's been some discussions about potential opportunities for Matt moving forward, but I don't think anything that's even close to concrete. So as of right now, I'm counting on him being a Red Bull in 2016.
What about the reports from Austria over Tim Sebastian? He moved on to a second division Bundesliga club. I know that he was a target for Red Bull. Can you talk a little bit about that and what was going on?
Yeah, there were. We're always trying to figure out with our subsidiaries in Leipzig and in Salzburg how to now have a good relationship and share resources, and if that's players, then that'd be great too. So we had an interest in Tim Sebastian. I think he had an interest in coming here, and in the end, he found a situation for him at Paderborn that I think will be very good for him. So. We'll see. There's potential for there to be more sharing of players in the future.
We're going to do one more with Jesse and then bring in Ali.
Several homegrown players have gone over to Austria to do some training.
Yeah.
So can you speak a little bit about that?
The feedback is that Tyler Adams and Sean Davis have done really well there and impressed, which doesn't surprise us. We think very highly of them. It's a great experience for them to have to be over there and be exposed to the level of play there. And, again, we'll continue to find ways to share resources.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay, man.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
What's going on?
How did signing homegrown players change your direction, philosophy in the draft?
Well, I think the good thing is we signed a lot of our homegrown players that otherwise probably would have been, what we believe is top draft picks, and so a lot of them midfielders and forwards, and so with that you kind of look at an emphasis of potentially being more looking at the back line. So
during that timeout, you guys looked like you were in talks with Seattle. Can you provide any information on that?
Just going back and forth on a couple different options. I want to be respectful of Seattle and not disclose what they share with us, and I'm sure they'll reciprocate.
Ali, last year you did a little bit of sort of clever moving around to get into position. I think for Leo Stolz at the time. And just this year, can you just describe the sort of difference in the process of how it feels to perhaps have a more settled squad coming into that?
Yeah, you know, every year is different, and every year you have unique challenges. And I think last year we were really in a situation where we needed to build the roster and build the team and acquire players and things like that. And this year, you know, the challenge is just bringing the team back. And you know, you still go out and push and drive to really get value out of the draft, and you know, have the conversations that you need to have in order to you know, be able to select the best player available. And this year we went out hard, but at the end of the day we feel really good about our picks, so very happy.
For you, youth development's been big for you. USL you put together the 7 homegrowns. Is that something that's going to happen every year, or was it the last few years players have been ready and you were just ready to make the signings?
So our commitment to youth development, I think, will only get stronger. But I do think that this was a unique year. I mean, you know, not many clubs will go out and be able to sign the number of homegrown players, and we won't either, you know, every offseason. We're still going to have the same approach in terms of really trying to embrace youth development, sign younger players from our academy and bring them into our system. But, you know, got to be honest, this was a pretty big year in that regard. So,
Ali, keep going off of that idea, known as a bit of a roster guru as well. So with these homegrowns coming in, there's a lot of reinforcements, young reinforcements. Are you going to give them the opportunity to stay on senior team, or are many of them going to be loaned off for the year to USL to make room for veteran signings?
You know, everyone knows it, from the staff to the players. We want a competitive environment, and we got to bring youth into our system, and so they're going to come into preseason. We start in Orlando, and they'll compete. So we expect a lot out of them, as we expect, you know, a lot out of all our players. So they'll get a fair shot. They're going to get an equal opportunity, and we're looking forward to seeing how they kind of mesh in with the group that we have now.
What's the current status with Matt Miazga?
He's on our roster. So he's on our roster, and he's at national team camp. So, you know, that's where we are with that. So, and you know, he's under contract until the end of the year. So, yeah.
And can you speak a little bit about Tim Sebastian? I know that he moved on to a second division Bundesliga club. He was a target of the Red Bulls. Can you talk a little bit about those interactions with him?
You know, I'm probably a little bit more open about this than I would probably other players, just because he's a guy that's kind of within our family. But we did have an interest in Tim, talented player that really wasn't playing as much with Leipzig right now, and you know, we've got a really close relationship with all of our teams. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a situation that works out, and he's going to move on, and you know, we wish him the very best. So yeah.
Do members of the Red Bull family reach out to you? Was it a player that you wanted, that you reached out to Leipzig? How did the conversation go?
I talk regularly to all the guys in Salzburg and all the guys in Leipzig and Brazil, and so we talk about scouting, we talk about tactics, talk about best practices, coaches, players, and so, you know, as you think about, you know, you look at the chemistry of our team and you look at the makeup, you know, maybe strengthening the back line was an emphasis, and so, you know, looking at their team, looking at, you know, a couple other teams, a couple of the targets, you know, it seemed like a situation that might make sense. At the end of the day, it didn't work out.